Hey, welcome to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven.
I'm Alec.
And today we do a tasting of Maker's Mark. Alright, so welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. Today we're doing a tipsy tasting of Maker's Mark.
Cue the red wax.
Yeah. So Maker's Mark, they're all wheated bourbons, which means their second dominant grain is wheat. In this series, we're basically doing your average, easy to find, so no private selections, except for the Maker's Mark 101. That was a limited release, so to be determined, but it's still on the shelf. So if you decide you like this video and you want to pick that up, it's still available at the time of airing. So, Alec, kick it off. What do we have first?
So, good old-fashioned regular Maker's Mark. Nothing really to say about it other than, wheated whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume, and you can pretty much find it anywhere. It's, it's got the identifiable red wax, and that's that.
Yeah. And then next we got the Maker's Mark 101, which is the limited edition release one of their limited edition releases for 2020. Basically, it's normal Maker's Mark at 101 proof. Not much more to say about it. It's Maker's Mark at 101 proof. It's a little bit better, I think. I don't know, we're about to find out.
Yeah. I think that's something that's a little bit unique about this tasting we're doing is this isn't going to be, with finishes or anything like that. It's pretty much just going to be different proofs. And how they come across probably is going to be relatively the same.
Relatively, except for this one.
Yeah.
That one's a little bit of a different finish.
But we'll get to that. Yeah. So next up we got Cask Strength. Okay, again, Maker's Mark. This one is just going to be the Cask Strength, so it comes in at 108 proof. And it's going to have a little bit more bite to it. You can obviously tell it's a little bit darker in color. But other than that, it's probably going to be the one with the most weight on it.
Yeah.
That's not saying.
It's Maker's Mark.
Out of the barrel.
Up next, we got Maker's 46, which is their stave selection of profile number 46, i.e. the name, obviously. So this one is basically they dangle some staves from French oak in there, give it a little bit of an extra kind of finished taste to bring out different flavors from your typical Maker's Mark flavor profile.
Okay, want to do some taste?
Yep. Let's get into some tasting here.
All right, here we go. So we're going to do our usual, the blind tasting. We're going to start with A, go to D, come back, and see what we can find out.
Yeah. Okay, on to A.
On to A.
And
caramel, vanilla.
Yeah, caramel, vanilla.
Plenty of oak.
A little bit oak.
A little bit of spice. Not a ton, but
Yeah,
a little bit.
A little bit of spice, some dark cherries, things of that nature.
No cherries for me.
He's wrong. I'm right. One of us is wrong. One of us is right.
It's me. Okay. Palate. There, I get a little cherry.
No. Yeah, some easy creamy caramel, vanilla, a little bit oak, some spice, some cherries.
I think the dark fruit is the biggest thing I can taste there. Dark fruit caramel.
Yeah, not too aggressive. Also not super duper light either. Yeah. So it's not feeling under warming either.
And it tastes like it got a little bit of proof to it. Not a lot.
Yeah, a little bit of proof, not a lot. Dark cherries, not dark cherries, just cherries. Oak, vanilla, spice, caramel.
It works.
Yeah, things of that nature. A very typical wheated bourbon flavor profile, which...
Yeah, nothing off the wall, just wheated bourbon.
On to B.
On to B.
Ooh. Sweet, caramel.
More oak. More oak.
More ethanol on this one.
More ethanol.
Yeah.
But also I think just stronger caramel vanilla.
Yeah, stronger caramel vanilla oak. A little bit of nut. Some nutty nut. Peanuts.
Tiny bit of nut.
Nuttiness.
Yeah. Not as much of the fruity flavor from the first one though. On the palate, more nuts.
A little bit of fruit, but not a lot.
Yeah. And not as much caramel or vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like super oak spices, like oak, cinnamon, maybe a little bit of black pepper. Pepper. Some oak, caramel, vanilla.
Yeah.
Lots of oak and nuts.
Yeah.
Though,
more oak and nuts, not as much of the caramel vanilla kind of flavor.
Yeah, a little bit of cherry, but not a lot of cherry.
Alright. Now see?
See?
See? See?
A lot.
Spicier.
You're getting spicier. I'm getting more fruit on this one.
There's fruit too,
fruity,
but it's also spicier.
Caramel, vanilla. Fruity caramel vanilla. That's what I'm getting on the nose. Some like
I'm getting like some cinnamon
oak.
I'm getting like cinnamon orange caramel.
Oranges. I'm getting like oranges and like cherries.
Yeah.
Oranges, cherries.
You gotta get cherries. A little bit more cherries. I don't know, orange though. Orange is sticking out to me on this one. Not as much caramel. Not as much vanilla. Actually, no, more than the last one. But still not
caramel. I'm getting more vanilla.
Yeah. But I think the fruitiness is definitely there on this one.
Yeah, some like
way more fruity on this one actually.
You know, like fruity oak spice.
Yes.
Fruity oak spice. Yeah, it's like
almost like no vanilla caramel though on the taste.
Yeah, like it's
a
small
tiny
hints,
bit,
like fruits, spices, oak, and then like it ends in a nice little like creamy vanilla.
Yeah.
Like, on the D.
This is the best. Alright. This one's got a lot of caramel vanilla. A lot to it.
A lot of oak, caramel, vanilla.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yep, nuts. Definitely can tell nuts.
Spices. Like not a lot of fruit.
No, not getting
like, I mean, maybe it's coming off of that one, but there's a lot less fruit on this one.
I agree. But I also think there's a lot more, like I said, the caramel vanilla on this one and the oak.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the biggest distinguishing thing between all of these is it's like they all have the same flavors, it's just which one comes out more or less, you know? That's the only kind of thing that I've tasted different, or smelled and tasted differently.
Okay. The fruit is on the palate.
Is it?
That is strong, rich, like creamy cherries, oak, and vanilla.
I'd agree. This one has a lot of bold flavor to it.
Ooh.
You know? It's creamy and they're very creamy. There is a lot of that dark kind of fruitiness to it.
Creamy, like dark cherry.
Not getting any spices on this one though.
Yeah, not a lot of spice. A little bit of nut at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, that's delightful though.
Alright, now we roll them back.
Do it again. Alright, D.
D.
And with this one, we're going to try not to talk so much about the flavors of the specific whiskey.
This is going to be a very cognitive way back. Just because this is actually pretty difficult to kind of pick which one's which right now.
Oh. It's still like the same like rich vanilla oak. It's just way less rich.
Yeah.
It got
I don't know. I feel like having that one now on the way back, it just doesn't taste as different as going from this one to that one. So I don't know.
Okay. See?
Okay, I'm starting to formulate some ideas, I think.
Creamy.
Like we
fruits,
said, the fruits
vanilla,
there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of nuttiness.
Oh, this is so much better than this.
You like C better?
Yeah, what the heck? I loved D when we tried it first, and now that I'm going on the way back, D is boring.
Gosh.
This got that flavor.
Alright.
Okay.
Hitting up the beat.
On the B?
Hitting up the beat.
Ooh. It's all like very similar, like caramel, vanilla.
Yeah.
It's just the way it impacts you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's basically like if you had a chart for which flavors were like the most prominent to least, that's what would be changing over these.
getting your typical like nutty
This one
caramel
seems
vanilla.
boring as shit now. All right, let's do A. Yeah, A, and then we gotta talk about some things.
Yeah.
Still getting the nutty. Still getting
Nutty caramel vanilla.
The
A
oaks
little bit
there.
of cherry.
I don't get the cherry at all on this one. I don't think I did on the first pass through either, though. I don't know.
Alrighty. Now we got a lot of A being ahead of us. We have a verdict.
Decision.
So, we went through, we slaved for hours. Hours! Just kidding, it took us like... It took
20 minutes.
Yeah, it took him like 10, took me like 20. It was
But it was a lot.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised with how similar these are. The only one that really stood out was C for me.
Yeah, I think the hardest part about this is that these were dynamic. They each had different, like they came off as different qualities, different proofs, different tastings when I did the comparisons.
Yeah.
And it was hard.
They were really good. They all had very similar like sweet caramel, vanilla, oaks,
Nutty.
a little bit of nut,
Yeah.
a little bit of fruit, a little
Right.
bit of oak. So they're all very similar. It's just the way it impacted, and I think that's kind of where we differed. So, for my ranking, I'm gonna go C is numero uno, D second, third place goes to good old A, and then D is last place.
That's B.
B's last place.
Yeah. Now, on my end, actually, I ranked them the exact same. C is best, D is second, A is third, and B is shit. But
Comparatively, I don't think I actually hated any of them, especially if that's normal Maker's Mark. I mean, at $25 or whatever,
right.
it's not bad. It's not great. You're not gonna rank.
Yeah, putting it up against the other
about
three, it's definitely a different story. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I would say we both agree. Whatever's in Glass B, underwhelming as heck, and whatever is in C is right on the money. Alec, I'm gonna let you kick it off on what you thought it was and why.
All right. So, my final verdict. I believe A to be the 101. I kind of went back and forth.
101.
101. I think that I'm going to stick with A being 101, and I know we both kind of did this, but distinguishing which one was which was a proof-based decision. 101 has a little bit higher, but it was not the most of the spike, and so I think I'm putting this one here because Cask Strength was the only other one that I actually thought had power to it. This one was a little bit less power and not as much flavor. So I'm going 101 for A. B, I think, is just good old-fashioned Maker's Mark. Because A didn't have as much of the flavor throughout, wasn't as pronounced in all of the notes, and it was just, I think we can agree, it just wasn't the most, powerful and announced and everything like that.
B, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just underwhelming comparatively.
Yes.
Because if that's the normal Maker's Mark, it's $25 and it's at the grocery store. You can't complain.
Exactly. C, Cask Strength. This bad boy had flavor. It was so much more on the proofy side. It literally, it did what it needed to do. And it wasn't necessarily that the proofing was too strong to the flavoring or that the flavoring was not all there. It just, you could tell. I think that you could just tell.
Yeah. It was so powerful compared to the rest. It knocked every other one out of the water.
Yeah.
Where B had a little bit of cherries, caramel, vanilla. C, it was so rich. It was rich caramel, rich cherries,
right.
Rich vanillas. It took those flavors and it cranked them all up, but not in a bad way, because sometimes that can be overwhelming, but in this, that killed it compared to the rest.
Yes.
And that's my TED Talk.
That's your TED Talk. Lastly, D is 46 in my opinion, just because I went back and forth between D and A. I didn't know which one was which, and it was kind of hard to really compare them, but when I did all of the back and forths, D just to me had the flavoring that was different. It had the flavoring that made me kind of question, is this the most flavorful, or is it just the second most flavorful? It's not the proofiest, and it's definitely not the second proofiest. So that's where I finally made that conclusion.
Yeah, I agree with both B and C. Where I differ, I think A is 46, and I think D is 101. I believe A is 46 due to the fact that I was getting very similar flavor profiles for B, C, and D. Unlike A, I had a little bit more of an oaky, vanilla, kind of creamy feel, which makes sense because this is their extra staves and stuff of that nature that they add to it. So it should theoretically have a higher oak presence, and that's what I was getting out of A compared to the rest. And then D, I think, is 101 just because it was a more muted version of the cask strength, where the cask strength knocked normal Maker's Mark out of the water. It was kind of contending with 101 a little bit, but didn't quite get there.
That's fair.
Yeah. And that's our opinions. We could be wrong. Who knows? We're about to figure it out.
I was gonna say that piece of paper is gonna tell us the truth.
Yeah. You ready to figure it out?
I'm ready to figure it out. Let's see.
All right. Give me a sec.
Yeah, you want to cut that?
Yeah. You ready to figure it out? You ready to figure it out? I'm ready. Alrighty. So for the moment of truth, according to this little piece of paper I wrote on, so we got A, 46, B, normal, good old Maker's Mark, C, cask strength, and D, Maker's Mark 101. I guess that means I was right.
Yeah.
And cask strength is the best Maker's Mark to get.
That's fair. Yeah, I think this is probably the best battle we've had so far.
Yeah.
This has been it's been a difficult.
I was 100% right.
You're just.
And I love it. I'm the best of the best of the best. But yeah, I think we both agreed cask strength was the best just because it wasn't too strong, which makes sense because this cask strength is, just kidding, that's not the cask strength. This cask strength's at 108 proof, which is very low for a cask strength, but it's rich. It's Maker's Mark, but turned up to 11, right where it should be. I would throw every single bottle of that away forever without hesitation just to get one bottle of this, because that is so much better of an experience compared to that. That is watered down. This is where it's supposed to be at. Yeah, so go get yourself Maker's Mark barrel proof strength. Literally any one except for the normal Maker's Mark. Normal Maker's Mark was so bad compared. If you're gonna spend the money to get normal Maker's Mark, just get Maker's Mark 46.
Yeah.
It's $5 more and that much better.
Right, the bottle is worth the $5 more in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, cask strength still only has a freaking
screw top.
Jeez, who put those on? Screw top, but who cares? It'd be like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be fancy. Who's bougie? Not me.
Definitely not him. Look at that face. Jesus.
Only a face mother could love. Well, that's it for us here today. Please do us a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this video. We'll have a lot more coming back to you in the future.
Check out the Instagram, check out the Facebook page, discussions about, lots of good stuff. And yeah, keep supporting. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate all the love.
Cheers.